I'm sorry. Do you think I'm a moron? Do you think I don't have a mind for like I can't make, what the hell is America all about? You just said I'm a moron. That's what you just said to half of America, hey, America, you're a moron. You can't think for yourself. That's why you need me, because I went to this elitist university called whatever, Columbia. I don't know where Rachel went to. And I know what's best for you. Guess what? I don't like that. That's why I left Iran.
Patrick Bet-David is clearly done with the woke agenda dominating today's media. And he didn't hold back when he brought a woke CNN reporter onto the PBD podcast on the Valuetainment YouTube channel. What followed was a fiery debate where both sides exchanged heated words, but Patrick Bet-David, in my opinion, came out on top. It's a tough battle for anyone on the CNN side, given their track record of spreading misinformation and misleading their audience time and time again. Yet, people continue to buy into it, watch the spin, and even make voting decisions based on the narratives pushed by outlets like CNN and MSNBC. Let's dive into this intense clip from the PBD podcast, where Patrick Bet-David takes on the CNN reporter and their entire network. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to help us grow.
That there's a lot of people that are saying, I just want to get to the bottom of it, see who was behind it.
Well, and this is the thing, you know, the COVID thing, you know, interests me for a specific reason. I mean, there is a active scientific debate about the ultimate source of COVID. Did it come from a lab? Did it come from an animal? An animal. And 100%. I'm just a guy who went to law school. I know fuck all about epidemiology. How could you possibly ask someone like me what the source of COVID was?
Oh, that's not what I'm asking.
No, but
in general.
But I'm saying, but what I'm saying is,
we rely on Vinny.
We should ask Vinny about the source of COVID. but
shut up,
that is a question that should be addressed in good faith by people who have some idea about how to determine that. I don't know the source of COVID.
Yeah, but Jeff,
I mean, that's that to me. But these questions that become politicized, it seems ridiculous to me to have political debates about something that is a scientific question that people should address. And I'm agreeing that there should be investigations of all that stuff.
By the way, Brett Baer, did you see the interview with Trump?
Yes, I saw excerpts from it.
Did you think he did a good job?
No.
Oh,
you mean Brett Baer?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Brett Baer did a very good job.
I agree. I think Brett Baer did a great job. And you know how he said, this person got fired. That person got fired. This person got fired. Why do you not have a good, hire? So he asked a tough question. And then, hey, why is it that you're keeping on to it? They were trying to get it from you. Well, I wanted to first make sure. Okay, so guess what? People want to know. Great. But people want to also know with the Corvette back and with the notes, what you had there is with Biden. People want to know as well. People want to know.
And there is an investigation going on Biden. Absolutely.
All I'm saying to you is people want to know. We want to know what's behind the truth. The comment about the fact that I'm not an I'm not the expert, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm totally get it. The element of that approach, when you say something like, well, you're not the expert in this and you're not the expert in that, there is a very clear, pompous, elitist message behind that. Just like this week when MSNBC and CNN, well, we know the president is talking right now, Jake Tapper and Rachel Maddow, but we know what the president is talking about. We are not going to let him have any airtime, and we're going to update you on whatever he says that's necessary because we know he's going to tell lies. I'm sorry. Do you think I'm a moron? Do you think I don't have a mind for I can't make, what the hell is America all about? You just said I'm a moron. That's what you just said to half of America, hey, America, you're a moron. You can't think for yourself. That's why you need me, because I went to this elitist university called whatever, Columbia. I don't know where Rachel went to. And I know what's best for you. Guess what? I don't like that. That's why I left Iran. There's a reason why we don't live in Iran for 10 years. 10 years old when I lived in Iran, we went to Germany at a refugee camp for 2 years. Then we came to America because I want me to make the stupid decision on who I vote for, not you. Let me make the stupid decision of voting for Biden or Trump. There's a part of that where when we say, I'm not the expert, you're not this, well, no, you're a smart guy. That's why you're here. You're not a regular schlep off the street that doesn't know what. You've been involved in a lot of different things I've investigated. All I'm saying is, for us to take the approach as well to say, hey, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't have this. You don't know what you're talking about. No, we're here because we don't know everything, but we're here to question things and say, this kind of sounds a little fishy. Don't you want to know about it? I do. Well, no, let's just live in the future. Forget about the past. No, I don't want to.
This whole argument of you're not an expert, so you shouldn't have an opinion, might have flown 10, 20, or 30 years ago, but it's a dangerous mindset that's persisted, especially within the realm of science. And it's not just about vaccines or current health debates. Look at what happened with Graham Hancock and his theories on ancient civilizations and archaeology. For years, Hancock was dismissed and ostracized by so-called experts simply because he wasn't part of the established academic circle. He suggested that certain structures were much older and had been destroyed by different events than the official narrative claimed. For years, his theories were shunned because he wasn't considered an expert. But as more information has come to light, it turns out Hancock was onto something, and now he's getting the recognition he deserves with Netflix shows and widespread acclaim. We live in a time where information is readily accessible at our fingertips, and more people are starting to see through the experts-only facade. As Patrick Bet-David points out in his debate with the CNN reporter, dismissing others simply because they're not credentialed in a particular field creates a dangerous echo chamber. It allows the so-called experts to control the narrative entirely, shutting down any dissenting voices that might challenge their authority. This leads to a self-protective cycle where they back each other up, not necessarily because they're right, but because it's about maintaining control and credibility within their circle. This kind of gatekeeping becomes especially problematic when we're talking about major decisions, like who should lead the most powerful country and military in the world. Thankfully, platforms like the PBD podcast are out here challenging these narratives, offering a space where ideas can be questioned and discussed openly without being dismissed on the basis of who holds the title of expert.
I completely agree that, you know, everybody that you know, we don't have you know, tests to determine whether, you know, you're entitled to express an opinion on a subject. Well, the only point I was making was there are certain scientific questions, like the source of COVID, that it really does require some considerable expertise in the subject in order to have a reasonable opinion about it. That's the only point I was making, and I'm not saying that, you know, I mean, what is more than legitimate is you or Vinny or anybody saying we need an investigation of the source of COVID. That everybody, you know, that's a perfectly legit, right? But the ultimate question of what the source of COVID is, I want to rely on people who know something.
And who's leading that investigation?
Yeah, exactly.
Who is? I don't know.
That's my fucking point.
And
where's this investigation of COVID?
And I go
They'll investigate laptops and leaks and this and that. But something that shut down the world for 2.5 years, no investigation. What is happening?
I get that he's trying to sound reasonable because he's surrounded by people who don't agree with him, so he's toning down his argument to seem more agreeable. But come on, saying you need to be somewhat informed to have an opinion is just common sense. It's obvious. In today's world, information is everywhere. It's practically impossible to avoid it, even if you wanted to. So, when he says you need to be informed, it feels like a subtle way of saying, if you don't agree with me, your opinion doesn't count. But the truth is, becoming informed is easier than ever. With information at our fingertips, anyone with their eyes and ears open can form a solid opinion on most topics. This woke CNN guy is trying to downplay Patrick Bet-David's stance by acting like he's just advocating for informed opinions. Well, no kidding. The reality is, most people today are pretty well informed because access to information is so widespread. So, this argument that you need to be an expert or you're not qualified to speak up just doesn't hold up when knowledge is so accessible.
China runs, bro. If China could fly spy balloons over our entire country, over nuke bases, and nothing happens, nobody's investigating shit. But here's my thing.
Which is absurd.
No, but here's my thing, Jeff. And you know, I'm not an expert. Nobody in here knows shit about epidemiology, right?
Right.
But guess what? It doesn't help when the experts were trying to talk and the government was silencing them. When Peter McCullough was trying to talk, when Robert Malone was trying to talk, they banned them on YouTube. They took them off Twitter. How do we even have a chance? How am I supposed to learn from the experts when they were shut down and now it's years later and now we're like, oh, it's old news. No.
Right.
Again, accountability. And that's why I had the thing with Joe Rogan. He wants to have that debate with the bring a scientist.
Dr. Peter Hotel, are you following that story?
I am following.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I mean, I actually am sympathetic. You know, if you want to have a scientific debate, have two scientists debate it, not Joe Rogan against some scientist.
He doesn't want to do that either,
No,
though.
RFK.
But Hotez doesn't even want to debate two expert scientists that are on the opposing side. I understand the argument you're saying, like, why should he debate RFK? RFK is not fine. Okay, that's a reasonable argument. But why don't you get a couple other experts from the other side?
Totally
I want you to debate.
That. Totally for that.
Then I respect
think
that.
That's fine. I mean, I'm not in that involved. I just having people who know something about it should debate. But you know, I shouldn't debate.
No, of course. Well, Jeffrey, why do you think?
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
America wants to see this debate, conversation, dialogue for sure. Whether it's RFK or Malone or McCullough, and then versus a Fauci or Dr. Hotep, fill in the blank. In your non-expert legal opinion, why do you think this debate has not happened? Why has it not occurred yet here in America?
Well, it is happening. I mean, look,
Where?
look, we're having
Where?
this conversation.
No. But none of us are experts. I'm talking experts.
There are scientific papers being published all the time
not a
about
debate.
COVID.
That's
That
not a
is
debate. No,
That
it's
is
not.
a debate.
Yeah, how many scientific papers have you read recently?
I haven't read it,
Zero.
but I mean, that's-
nobody's reading that.
but that's-
People want to visualize and see
You're
debate
saying, like,
just
okay.
like that.
If these experts are so confident in their opinions, like Dr. Peter Hotez or whatever his name is, then why wouldn't he just debate Joe Rogan and make him look like a fool? If he's so sure he's right, he should be able to easily dismantle Joe Rogan's arguments, right? But the real fear is that Joe Rogan, this so-called average Joe who isn't an expert, might actually come out on top in that debate. It just shows that you don't have to be a so-called expert to be well-informed on a subject. Vinny, or PBD, mentioned exactly what I've been saying. Just like in the Graham Hancock situation, experts who challenged the mainstream narrative were silenced. Those who go against the accepted expert opinion are banned or censored to keep the echo chamber intact. Once the expert opinion is established, it's off limits for debate, even among other experts, and that's the real problem. These woke types continue to lie and push their narratives, not because they're interested in finding the truth, but because they're only focused on advancing their own agendas. As long as you're aligned with their narrative, you're suddenly deemed an expert, no questions asked. Let me know your thoughts on this heated debate between Patrick Bet David, Vinny, and the rest of the PBD podcast crew against this woke CNN reporter. Who do you think came out on top? What's your take on the discussion? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the clip, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.